Hello, welcome to episode 4 of Ask a Nutritionist, where you guys ask me questions and I do my best to answer them. So this week I got a few questions. Today I'm just gonna answer 2 because one of them is a really big question and I feel like it needs a lot of attention. So the first question, Heather asked about the ketogenic diet. How is it beneficial and who is it best for, basically? So the keto is really popular right now because it is a quick way of weight loss. However, there's a lot going on with the keto diet. So a little bit of history behind keto. It was first discovered in the early 1900s for helping with epilepsy. And they saw on the keto diet around like 80% reduction in seizures. And this was in children who had epilepsy that couldn't be treated with medications. And then over 6 months, they saw around 70% had, even after the diet, going off the diet, had a reduction in severity of seizures. And then 50% had no more seizures at all, which to me is just so cool. And it really shows you how impactful diet is on your overall health. I mean, these are children that could not reduce their seizures even with medication. And so keto really exploded when it got a lot of attention from someone who was famous who had a kid with epilepsy later in the 1900s. And now here we are today, and people realized that it could be a great way of losing weight really fast. So it kind of became more of like a trending diet. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Because keto is a pretty severe diet and there are a lot of things to look out for, and I'll do my best to kind of glance over the diet and give you the gist of it. It's really pretty complicated, so I'll try not to go too much into detail. Basically, if you are seriously considering keto, I encourage you to reach out to me. I do free 15-minute consults so we can, review some things and see if it's actually a good fit for you. Anyway, so keto, what is going on is you are actually encouraging your body to go into a different kind of like biological process for getting energy. So normally we have a macronutrient ratio of like 45% carbs, 15 to 25% protein, and then the remainder fat. On keto, you're having closer to 80% fat. You are restricting carbs severely down to less than 10%, and then the remainder is protein. So what you're doing is you're forcing your body to go from using glucose for energy to using ketones. So carbohydrates are broken down into glucose. And what we have stored on our body, fat, is actually gets converted or can get converted to be utilized. So basically when you are depriving yourself of carbs, you're depriving yourself of glucose, and you're forcing your body to convert fatty acids into ketones to be used for energy. So what happens is you don't have glucose, so your body starts to tap into your reserves, and that's where the weight loss comes from. But there are a lot of considerations in terms of the keto diet. First of all, you need to make sure you're able to digest fat properly. So gallbladder plays a huge role. If you are lacking a gallbladder, you're going to need to have someone, you should have someone watch you closely regardless when you're on keto, but gallbladder, you're going to need special treatment if you don't have it. Also, liver needs to be functioning properly because those two play a role in producing and releasing bile, which is digestive juices that help digest fats. So if we're not properly producing bile, then we can have fat malabsorption, and then if you're not absorbing the fat, you're not utilizing it, and you could potentially not be in ketosis, even though you are consuming a lot of fat. So liver, gallbladder, kidney function is important. Okay, so since you're restricting carbs aren't just pasta and bread. It's also fruits and vegetables. Just about everything contains some level of carbohydrates. So you're gonna have to watch out for vitamin deficiencies because you're restricting vegetables and fruits. You're gonna have to watch out for electrolyte imbalance and dehydration. What else? I mean, long-term keto, we aren't totally sure, honestly, because most studies are 6 months to a year. So if anybody is on long-term keto, that's another consideration. So keto is complicated, and it can cause, because of the increase in fat, and it can cause GI issues as well. So I feel like I'm really ragging on it, but it has been shown to be beneficial, especially in people with cognitive difficulties. So there's like brain injury, epilepsy, as I mentioned, how it was first discovered. Also Alzheimer's, it may be beneficial. And type 2 diabetes, because we are restricting carbs, you have less blood sugar. And also, Parkinson's, it may be beneficial in Parkinson's. So there's a lot to consider in terms of doing the keto diet. It has therapeutic approaches or therapeutic benefits for certain cases. However, it needs to be monitored very closely. And a lot of people measure, what you measure are ketone levels, and a lot of people use urine testing. However, you're not really supposed to be excreting ketones through your urine. It usually means excessive ketones. So the best way to test ketone levels would be daily through blood strips. So it's a diet that is very restrictive and needs to be monitored very closely. Sure, it is effective for weight loss, but there's lots of other ways to lose weight. However, if you're looking for therapeutic approaches like the ones I've mentioned, I forgot to mention migraines is another one, then yeah, it's a great one to consider. So that was a lot. Please reach out to me if you have any questions about that. And yeah, just be wary, and I encourage you to, if you're going to do keto, get someone to help you, like a nutritionist or a doctor, to support you along the way, because there are also labs that you will need to be monitoring. Cholesterol, for instance, is one that in some people can increase when they're on the keto diet. So that is keto diet. Question number 2 is about almonds. So Debbie asked, almonds, I hear they're sprayed with pesticides in the US. Is that true? And if so, are there any sources that aren't? So it is true. Most almonds are sprayed with pesticides, at least conventional almonds. A sure way to know you're not getting those pesticides is to shop organic. Just about, I think, possibly 100%, all almonds in the US are pasteurized because of a history of salmonella outbreaks from them. So even the ones in California, the organic ones, are pasteurized. I read that if you want unpasteurized raw almonds, you have to buy them from abroad. So yes, something to consider when buying almonds, and your almond milk is, just because you may be going dairy free or something like that, also consider where your stuff is being sourced from, and yeah, the impact it can have on the environment, because of course if you buy them from abroad, they have to be shipped a long ways. So stuff to consider, a lot to think about. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for all your questions. There's one I didn't get to today that I will get to next week, but please keep sending your questions my way. Thank you very much. Enjoy the sunshine and have a good weekend.